Hello, Joe, co-owner of Montclair Roofing and Contracting. Today we're making this little video to show you what it's like getting your roof done in one day, the systems that we use, the products that we use, and how we install. So basically you can see behind me a house that we already got it started on. We're gonna break down each part and show you what we use so you know what to expect the day of your install. We're gonna be ripping the shingles off down to the plywood, then we're gonna be showing the underlayment, then we're gonna be showing shingling and flashings. So this is gonna show you the whole job start to finish in one day. We're actually doing this house and the neighbor across the street. Let's go take a look. As you can see here, one of the first steps after putting the tarps up is now ripping the roof. So what we're doing is we're taking it down to the plywood, ripping off all the old shingles, the old underlayment, the old ice and water. This way we have a clean nailable surface so your roof stays flat. In the state of New Jersey, you're allowed 2 layers of a roof, but the problem with doing a roof on top of a roof, which we call a second layer, is that you can't get extended warranty on it. And also, because of the heat of having 2 layers of roofs, it's not breathing, it's not venting. So instead of getting 50 years out of a shingle, you're gonna get 25. The next step after ripping the roof is we need to inspect the plywood and look for any rot. So basically, rot makes nails pop out, which is gonna make your roof not last a long time and look wavy, and also create leaks over the long term. So what we're gonna do is we're seeing if there's any questionable areas, and we found one right here. So basically, it doesn't take a carpenter to see that this wood's no good. So this piece of plywood is gonna end up coming off, and we're gonna put down a new fresh piece. This way, nails don't pop up, there's no rot. This customer used to have a leak right here, obviously, because there was definitely water penetrating that roofing shingle. And that looks like most of the areas for this. Once we blow it off, inspect it a little closer, we might find something else. But right now for this roof plane, it looks like that's the bad piece of plywood that needs to come out. On all of our jobs, we always include 5 sheets of plywood because we always expect that there was a leak or a rot somewhere, and we never want to leave anything behind, and we don't have to want to charge you for every single piece. So old roofs, commonly, if they're done more than 15 years ago, they use old tar paper instead of a synthetic felt, which we're gonna show you in a little bit. This old tar paper is basically cloth soaked in petrol, and as you can see, it leaves a black residue on the roof. A lot of people mistake this black residue for rot. This isn't rotted plywood. This is from this tar paper being pressed against here for a long time. When it heats up in the sun, it just discolors the plywood. But this plywood is okay, unlike the plywood we saw over there. The important thing about a roof is to use a full roofing system. So basically, by using all the manufacturer's products all together, you get extended warranty that we'll touch on and explain in a little bit. But the first part is, we stripped it down, replaced any rot like you see right here. The next thing comes the underlayment. The underlayment is one of the most important parts and the most overlooked parts of the roof. This is because this is what gives you ventilation, which is breathability, and it also is a second layer of defense against water underneath the shingles. So basically the first component of this, the most important, that's skimped on the most, is ice and water shield. So down here you have the Owens Corning matte ice and water shield weatherlock. Basically what this does is it sits on the eaves, which is the gutter lines of the roof, and also on the rakes, which is the part that goes up, which you're about to see him do right now. Basically what this does is it protects against wind-driven rain and also ice damming. This really helps protect not get any leaks, because the most common place to get a leaks is at the edges of your roof or also around any penetrations like a chimney. You're gonna see us actually do the ice and water shield up around the chimney, and then we're gonna get step flashing and chimney capping over that, counter flashing. But right now the ice and water shield's going on, and basically 3 feet at the rakes is what we do and 6 feet at the eaves. New Jersey code says that's to be 2 feet past the warm wall. The warm wall is the edge of your house, the insulated wall. So we go up 6 feet, which is an additional 3 feet above what's code on this house. But this is best protection. It's required in some other states and some parts of New York in climate zones like ours. So it's just better protection for your roof. Ice and water shield doesn't just go on the eaves and the rakes, it also goes on the valley. So right here is the valley. This is where 2 roof pitches come together. So right here is the common spot that you can have a leak. So we also put the ice and water shield here. So once again, here's a piece of the ice and water shield. Basically, when you put a nail through ice and water shield, when it heats up with the sun and the heat from outside, it seals around the nail. So this is a self-sealing membrane so that it can't leak. The next membrane we're going to talk about is the synthetic underlayment. So the synthetic underlayment goes everywhere where there is an ice and water shield. The reason for this being is it's a breathable membrane. Water can't get in, but it still lets that humidity and moisture that's built up in the roof get out. If you do the whole house an ice and water shield, which is more waterproof, basically what you're gonna have is you're gonna have condensation build up underneath the plywood. The plywood and the nails are gonna rot out, causing your shingles to come off. So this way, we have the protection against the wind-driven rain, the ice damming here in the Northeast in the winter, but then also in the summer, we're getting that breathability, we're letting that heat moisture out and helping regulate the temperature of your home. Wherever you meet a chimney, or if you're meeting the siding and it's going on an angle, you need something called step flashing. This is this little pieces of metal which are overlapping every shingle. So when you get up to it, it goes, so if water gets underneath, it doesn't penetrate the chimney. This is a top shield on it, which now is being covered by ice and water shield. Once we drill in past that mortar line, then we're gonna insert a piece of aluminum counter flashing to make it look really nice and to finish it off and to protect against water coming down the chimney. So the starter strip goes on the eaves, which is the gutter line, and the rakes also. So you can see it right here underneath the shingle. What this does is this adhesion strip adheres to the shingle and keeps wind from lifting up. So this is gonna go just like this, holding the edge of the shingle down. A lot of people will just flip a shingle upside down. They flip it over, they put the backside because they're too lazy to order a pack of starter strip. So with the full system warranty, you have to use the starter. So that's why we have this on every job, these strips, and we don't just flip a shingle around. Here at Montclair Roofing and Contracting, we're partnered with two different manufacturers of shingles. That's GF and Owens Corning. So GF over here, the blue and red bundle, is the that's their 50-year lifetime. This is the Owens Corning duration line. This is their 50-year lifetime. We don't recommend any 30-year roofs. So basically they have the same warranty, 130 mile-per-hour wind warranty over here, unlimited over here, but really, if you're not in Miami, you're not getting those kind of winds. So basically, the main difference of these shingles I'm gonna show you now, if we cut this open. The reason why we recommend the Owens Corning, and we have more of the logos even though we're certified in both, is because this extra piece of fiberglass nailing strip, which reinforces the shingle from tears. So I'm gonna show you in a second the main difference with that and the nailing zone. So over with the GF, it still has a very large nailing zone, and if you see, it's actually larger than the Owens Corning. The problem with this is on the side of the shingle, the common bond where the shingle overlaps, it's single layer in most of the nailing zone, which causes for a very easy rip. This is right where the nails go in between the two lines. It rips straight down, very easy, didn't have much effort. Now on the other hand, this one, where it's doubled up for more of it, and you have this reinforced flashing tape, with all my strength, I can't rip it. Of course, if I rip this, not in the nailing zone, just like the other one, it rips the same way. This protects against fly-offs and also does a better job at holding the nails tight. The next important part about your roof that most people don't think about is actually the nails. So on this roof, there's over 14,000 nails. So you want to use a quality nail. That's why we use hot dipped and not electro galvanized. About 95% of contractors basically use electro galvanized nails, which is a process of coating the nails so that they don't rust using electricity, but it only holds up to 10 years under the elements, and it's only 10 years of being exposed to where it fails. Where hot dipped, where they're fully covered, lasts 30 years fully exposed. Now, no roofing nail should be fully exposed because they go underneath the shingle and the other one overlaps over it, but feel a lot more comfortable with a 30-year rather than a 10-year nail. Just to test the difference, for about a week, I put these both in a water bottle and just wanted to see what happened to the coating. And you can already see the electro galvanized, the coating's wearing off after just a week of being in a water bottle in a hot car, where the hot dip still looked brand new. You see here, this is called the pipe flashing. So basically any penetration in your roof is the easiest place to get a leak. So that we don't get a leak, what we do is we use a metal lifetime IPS pipe flashing boot But around that, we put ice and water shield, just like we did in the valleys on the edges to prevent against ice damming. This creates a seal around it, and then we go over with the shingle to finish it off. So if you see, this is the ice and water shield underneath of it, which overlaps the metal, which creates the seal. This way it doesn't leak, and then the shingle goes around it. I keep touching on ventilation, and that's because it's one of the most important parts of the house. So underneath the roof, you have the soffit. So the soffit lets air in if it's vented, which then flows up the rafters and comes out this space on the top right here, if you see the gap. So in order to do that, we still have to protect against rain and critters and everything else getting in. That's why we use the Owens Corning rigid roll ventilation. Unlike the foam mesh ridge vents, this one keeps its structure, doesn't allow any bugs in, and also doesn't compress as much, which gives you a nice smooth finish lines. So basically the cool air coming in through the soffit pushes out all the heat and moisture that builds up on the peak and the highest point of your house, which comes out here then, which comes out this vent, which gets caps on top to make it clean and match your roof.
You will definitely get a recommendation from me because it's been a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I didn't feel like I was cooped up in the house. Quite an experience. Never had a roof done like this, you know, in one day. Yeah. So it's been an experience, and everybody's been courteous. So.